Hi, welcome to 7 Facts. You are watching the 26th episode of the series that is aimed to discover 7 little known facts about each and every state and territory of the United States. If you want to check out the rest of the series, there's a playlist you can browse. And while you do that, remember to subscribe. I upload brand new videos every Wednesday and Saturday in addition to the hundreds of videos that are already on my channel. In today's episode, we're going to explore Montana, so don't go anywhere for the next few minutes. The land that is now Montana was slowly discovered and explored by Euro-Americans in the early 1800s. Before that, the area was sparsely populated by Native American Indian tribes. Following the Lewis and Clark expedition, fur traders pretty much represented the largest white population in the area. However, after the first gold was discovered in 1852, miners started settling the area heavily. This sudden increase of white Euro-Americans has led to some conflicts with the local Native Americans. But many of these conflicts were solved by creating separate Indian reservations. Even so, a lot of blood was shed. The new settlers went as far as even killing bisons by the thousands to deprive the natives of their main source of food. An estimated 13 million bisons used to roam Montana, but even so, they were almost driven into extinction. It's not hard to figure out why the state is called Montana. It has a lot of mountains. Montana comes from the Spanish word montaña. There are about 100 or so mountain ranges in the state, most of which are part of the Rocky Mountains. Even so, 60% of the land is covered by prairies, which belong to the northern Great Plains. This state is also big. It's in fact the largest of the landlocked states and the fourth largest overall, after Alaska, Texas and California. It's slightly larger than Germany, but while Germany has a population of over 82 million people, Montana is home to only 1 million people. In fact, there are 2.5 times more cows in Montana than there are people. Now, cows are domesticated animals kept in farms. They're a source of income. But what about wildlings? Well, Montana is one of only 5 states that still have wild grizzly bear populations. In fact, it has the largest grizzly population in the lower 48 states. What does that mean in numbers? About 500 in the north and somewhere around 600 in and around Yellowstone Park. Speaking of Yellowstone Park, it's only partly in Montana, but that's not a very big issue. There are plenty of other parks to choose from, as roughly 1/3 of Montana is made up of protected lands. Yellowstone, the first American national park, has 1,000 to 3,000 earthquakes each year, and in case you didn't know, it's basically a giant volcano. When this volcano will erupt again, obviously it will be a really bad thing for humanity and there's nothing really we can do about it, but Montana will surely become uninhabitable. Montana's motto is Oro y Plata, which is Spanish for gold and silver. When in the second half of the 19th century large deposits of gold were discovered, the gold rush began. Bannack, Montana's first capital, and Helena, its current capital, were both founded by gold miners. An estimated $3.6 billion worth of gold was extracted in the region of Helena alone, and over a period of just 2 decades. This of course made the city one of the wealthiest in the US and the world. This concentration of wealth contributed to the city's prominent and elaborate Victorian architecture, which can still be seen today. Bannack, on the other hand, is today a ghost town, deserted since 1972, but it can still be explored as 60 historic structures still remain standing today. What can be more relaxing than a nice walk on the shores of a lake, right? Well, not so much in Butte, Montana. This city is home to the Berkeley Pit, a former open-pit copper mine that is now filled with water. But you shouldn't take a bath in this water as it's highly acidic. The pit is laden with heavy metals and dangerous chemicals that leach from the rocks, including copper, arsenic, cadmium, zinc and even sulfuric acid. In fact, the water is so loaded with metals that some of the materials can actually be mined directly from it. This acid pit is of course deadly. In 1995, migrating geese that landed in the water died, 324 of them. In 2016, a larger flock of geese landed again. This time, several thousands died with their insides lined with burns and festering sores. If everything I just said sounds like fun to you, you're in luck. For an admission fee of just $2, you can go and visit this giant pit of death. Ever heard of the Continental Divide? It's the main geological divide of the Americas which separates the watersheds that drain into either the Pacific Ocean or the Atlantic. Much of Montana is part of that divide, which splits the state into distinct eastern and western regions. What's neat about this is that rivers that flow from the mountains of Montana flow towards and into the Atlantic Ocean on the east side, while on the west side they flow into the Pacific. And as a bonus, there are rivers that also flow to the north, towards and ultimately into the Hudson Bay, which is in turn part of the Arctic Ocean. Remember what I've said in the beginning of the video about the conflicts between the natives and the settlers? Well, today Montana seems to have learned from its mistakes. Currently, it's the only state in the US whose constitution mandates teaching tribal history. Since 1972, the Montanan Constitution includes a commitment to preserving Native American cultural integrity through education. The state's educational agencies have worked with Montana tribes to include information about American Indian history and culture in Montana schools. This is a small but crucial step towards a reconciliation and peaceful cohabitation between Montanans of so many different cultural and ethnic backgrounds. And we're done. These were 7 facts about Montana. I really do hope you liked this video. If you did, please leave a like and perhaps even subscribe. Let me know what you think about this video downstairs in the comment section. If you wish to support this channel, visit my Patreon page and become a patron. I hope to see you next time. Bye.